to Conversations with Belle, where we discuss real life issues in a meaningful way. Today, we're going to be talking about something that is really important to me. Does it sound good?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to be talking about something that's really important to me, which is single mothers and reframing the narrative surrounding them. Today, we're joined by Toni Davenport, one of the authors of Dear Single Mom, You Were Built to Defy the Odds. She's also the mother of two young adults. Welcome, Toni.
Why? How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited about the conversation today that we're going to be having.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, Lordy. Okay. So tell us about this project. We'll start there. Tell us about this project. Whose idea was it? How did you become involved?
It was
Okay.
actually Alandria Lloyd. She's a
Okay.
mastermind behind this
Okay.
project. It was her vision to get single mothers together and
Okay.
put together our different testimonies and
Okay.
stories to create this anthology. So it was about, I want to say 10 or 12 of us. I can't remember.
Okay.
But she put a notice on Facebook and she said, "Are you a single mom? Are you
Okay.
interested in collaborating your story or telling your story?" And at first I was like, my story is kind of rough. So
Okay.
I didn't want to put my business out there
Right.
like that.
Right.
So I went to my kids and I said, how do you guys feel about,
Hmm.
me writing a book? We're writing a story, a chapter in the story. And, they were actually okay with it because I wasn't going to do it if they weren't. I
Right.
didn't, I wasn't going to do that. But they agreed and they said,
Hmm.
well, as long as you're happy. And I said, basically, I'm doing it to help somebody else.
Hmm.
That's the whole purpose of the book is to help somebody else because if
Right.
I can make it, somebody else can make it too.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the gist of it, and that's the whole purpose of the book is basically inspiring. It's
Hmm.
inspiring people who are in this situation to continue to go on when they start feeling hopeless or I can't make it and I'm struggling. But
Hmm.
once you read somebody else and you realize that you're not alone,
Hmm.
then you can kind of push forward a little bit farther.
Okay, so I understand that your purpose of writing it was to help others. How did the writing of the book or your portion of the book help you, or did it? Was it
It
cathartic in any
did.
way? Okay. Hmm.
Absolutely. Plenty of tears. I would say that because
Hmm.
I had to rehash a lot of stuff that I had gone through.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I forgot about this. So I found this lake that I went to because
Hmm.
we were told that sometimes it helps to get out of your normal everyday environment
Hmm.
and to go and just sit and write and type and talk to God and pray and cry. So it was very cathartic. I thought
Mm.
it was something I never thought I would do
Okay.
because I was always, I guess, not necessarily private, but pretty
Mm.
private enough
Yeah.
that what happens here stays here, that type of
Hmm.
stuff. But that's you can't get free unless
Yeah.
you tell your story and you can help somebody else. The stuff that we
Right.
go through is for somebody else anyway. I believe
Right.
is for
Right.
somebody else too. So yes, it helped a lot and it put a lot of things in perspective. I let go of a lot of I guess guilt for
Hmm.
not thinking that I was doing things right or how they should have been.
Hmm.
But you work with what you have.
Yeah.
And I think I did pretty good. I got two
Hmm.
college graduates on my
Yes, you
hands.
did.
So
Bravo to you. Bravo to
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's so interesting that you said that because that's been my battle is I'm very private.
Mhm.
And but one day I was at home and I was thinking, everything that you've gone through wasn't just for the sake of you going through it. And for you, it was
Right.
just wasn't just for you to say that happened to me and I persevered. You really have got to share what's happening to you or what's happened to
Mhm.
you because it's
Mhm.
for someone else,
That's
who's
right.
maybe at the end of their rope, who's frustrated, you know, so that they can see, okay, she made it, they made it, I can do it.
Yes,
I
that's
really
right.
have had to stretch myself and come out of that shell and be more open. I'm very transparent with friends, because that's comfortable. I
Mhm.
trust them. I
Right.
trust them with my secrets. I trust them with my feelings. I trust them with my
Mhm.
experiences. But when you start talking
Mhm.
about sharing your innermost hurts and um,
Yes.
disappointments and I
Mhm.
fumbled the ball here. That's the level of vulnerability that a lot of us don't have, and I certainly have had to work towards that because there's a lot there's a lot that I can
Yes.
share. And so today, in the spirit of authenticity and all that, I do plan on being as transparent as I can be while still respecting the privacy and in some cases the memory of
Mhm.
others, because my story is my story to tell, right?
Right. That's
Right.
right. That's right. It's
Right.
our truth.
Yeah.
Literally. It's our truth. I
How did
agree.
your children feel when they read it? Had they already is this
Um,
stuff they already knew or
to a certain extent.
okay.
But to this day, I don't think my son has read it yet.
Mhm.
And he
Mhm.
told me that because when I wrote it, it was in his last semester in college,
Mhm.
and it didn't want to kind of mess with him. But we've had a conversation before
Mhm. Mhm.
about what I had gone through with their dad when they were little,
Mhm.
and he took it hard.
Yeah.
He took it hard. That's my heart. That
Yeah.
moms and sons, they have this bond. But my daughter, she was like, "Mom, I'm so proud of you.
Mhm.
I feel like you did a great job."
Mhm.
And because I kept saying, "Was it too much?" Because my chapter is kind of brutal. But
Oh,
I said, "Well,"
really? Okay. Okay.
I was like, I mean, it is, but it's my truth, and
Mhm.
I couldn't sugarcoat it because
Right.
it wouldn't be authentic.
Mhm.
And it's brutal because that was a brutal time for me when
Yeah.
they were growing up. But, regardless, but my son did say, "Mom, I'm proud of you for even putting
Mhm.
yourself out there."
Mhm.
But I don't think that he's ready to handle a lot of it
Mhm.
because it is upsetting. It's upsetting. But
Yeah.
at the same time, "Mom, I'm your biggest fan. Whatever you want to do, then go ahead and do it."
Mhm.
So, but he supports it regardless.
Yeah.
He supports it. I don't know if I need to ask him. I don't know if he's read it. So,
So,
but
okay. So I read the book. So I know your story, at least the Cliff Note version, right, of your life.
okay.
So
Yes.
can you share with us your story and
Sure.
how you came to belong to this tribe of single mothers along with myself?
Okay. I was married. Well, I was married. I met
Mhm.
my ex-husband in college at Grambling State University,
Okay.
and moved to Georgia, got
Mhm.
married. But I ended up moving in my senior year.
Mhm.
And so when I got here, I was supposed to go to school, and life happens. So I ended up I had to finish online. But at the same time, um, the marriage started getting rocky, and it was just like, you know what, this is too much. It
Mhm.
was a lot of emotional and verbal and mental and all that, and it is I couldn't let my kids keep going through that because,
Mhm.
we will go through whatever. But when your kids are involved, it's
Yeah.
like, oh no, ma'am, we're not gonna keep doing this. We're not. So we got a divorce,
Mhm.
and I ended up. But at the same time, I felt like I need to keep my last name
Mhm.
because there's such a stigma on single
Mhm.
mothers, especially Black single mothers.
Mhm.
We gonna
Put it
keep it
out
real.
there.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we black women. There's
Yeah.
a stigma, and
Mhm.
so I wanted to keep my last name, and for the sake of, I don't want to have to go to school, to the kids' school, and they're like, "Oh, this is your mother." Oh, and then there's like a pity that, "Oh, where's your dad?" Or
Mhm.
stuff like that. So, but no, and at the same time, my son, he was going through a hearing issue
Mhm.
where he couldn't hear when he was,
Mhm.
I think it was about 2 years old, and then found out that he was autistic,
Mhm.
and so it was a lot. It was a lot, and my kids are 17 months apart. So
Wow.
yeah, so I really kind of felt like I had twins, but
Mhm.
I had to keep going. I was so embarrassed that I didn't want to let my family know what I was going through, And because I fought so hard that I left school to go follow this man. And
Mhm.
so I had to just chuck it up, like, okay, this is what I did. I had to own it. These are my mistakes, but I'm
Mhm.
here. And so I have these kids I have to take care of. And in the meantime, I was getting child support, but I was
Mhm.
getting like the minimum.
Mhm.
When I say the minimum,
Yeah.
the minimum. And so we struggled, and I had to work a couple jobs,
Mhm.
and it was a lot. It was a lot, and it took a lot of prayer, a lot of tears, a lot of help from family. So I eventually I did, because I guess it's pride too. You don't want anybody to think that you can't do it, or you
Mhm.
can't you know you can't, you don't really want to own up to, oh, I think I kind of failed in this area.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I heard my grandmother's voice, and
Mhm.
she always says, stay involved in your kids' lives, whatever they
Yeah.
do. So I made sure that they were always in extracurricular activities,
Mhm.
and which, being a single mom, and they was in everything, band and cheerleading and this and that. So you're getting pulled 5,000 different ways.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it was, whew,
Yeah.
it was a lot. So you have to. I found people who, especially with my son, to I had to make sure that he stayed involved and stuff,
Mhm.
because raising a young black boy, you
Yeah.
know, that's a challenge within itself. So he doesn't
Mhm.
become involved in the streets or involved in whatever else. So I made
Right.
sure that, you guys find stuff that you like to do,
Mhm.
so that's how the music came along. And then
Mhm.
my daughter, she's a butterfly. She's a social butterfly. So she wanted to be involved in everything. But I also had to find a way to keep
Mhm.
myself grounded, because you have to take care of yourself. So,
Right.
and actually, and honestly, I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that the self-care, because I'm good for taking care of everybody else.
Mhm.
So, but I'm still on the single journey,
Yeah.
but my kids are 22 and 23 now.
Mhm.
So it doesn't stop. I'm thinking, oh, they graduated, it
Right.
gets easier. No, ma'am.
They still need you. They still
They
need you.
still need
You're just
you.
parenting differently. Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
So, and then I've learned that, and people, nobody, I won't say nobody, but it's a lot, because I don't know why I keep coming back to the stigma of single mothers, but if you're unmarried and you
Mhm.
have kids, you are a single mother.
Mhm.
So, regardless of if your kids are on their own, if you're still providing assistance, you're still a mother.
Mhm.
So, but it's still rewarding. It's
Mhm.
still challenging, and you still have to find you a tribe.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. I had to find a tribe to help, if even with letting them go spend a night or go hang out, or just to give me a breather
Yeah.
for an hour or two, but I think that's the main thing that kept me going,
Mhm.
is it, besides prayer,
Yeah.
besides prayer,
Yeah.
is having a tribe.
Yeah.
So, and this book helped me realize that, okay, I did the best that I could with
Mhm.
what I had, and
Mhm.
other people are doing the same thing.
Right.
So, but yeah,
Right.
the journey is still going.
Yeah, mine too. So my story I'll share. Um, right after graduating from college, I fell pregnant. Okay.
Okay.
So right after I graduated, like a few months later, boop, boop, I was pregnant. Okay.
Okay.
So I was a single mom. I consider that a young age, in your early 20s. That's still young to me.
Mhm.
Fast forward about 8 years, I met my ex-husband, fell in
Okay.
love, got married, and we had some stair steps, right? Our
Okay.
marriage didn't last, didn't work out. Um, and so we divorced. And then he, shortly thereafter, a couple years after that, he passed away. So
Oh, okay.
I've kind of done I've been like a super mom, I mean, a single mom, like, I don't know, cubed. I was single, never married, single mom. I was
Mm.
dating and engaged and married. Then I was a divorcee with children. And then, he passed away. And so it has truly been the best time of
Mhm.
my life for growth, and it's been, the worst. I've seen it all. I've run the
Okay.
gamut of emotions. There have been extreme highs and there have been extreme
Mhm.
lows. And I think that through it all, like other single moms, I've just done the absolute best that I knew how to do with what I had. And it has not been easy, but
That's right.
we made it. My oldest son is a college
Yes.
graduate from my
Nice.
alma mater, and we're making it. We're making it. It
Yeah.
hasn't been easy, but we're making it. And so, as I was reading the stories of the ladies in the book, I was like, okay, I can relate to this. This sounds like part of my story, or this sounds like the story of others that I know. And
Mhm.
so, I just think it's really important, and that's why I wanted to talk about. Single motherhood, because honestly,
Mhm.
I see a lot of things on social media that are um, terrible comments about single mothers,
Yeah.
like terrible
Oh, yes.
comments. And, single mothers are the bane of existence. And
Mm.
not only are we like destroying society, but it's our fault that the father is not involved. And
Mm.
to be
Wow.
fair, I'll concede there are mothers that are irresponsible. There are mothers that aren't engaged. There are mothers who don't want to be mothers. I'll concede that. And we see those
Mhm.
stories, that people pick from those stories that make the headlines,
Right.
these mothers that do
Right.
these terrible things to their children. And
Mhm.
that's supposed to be all of us. And
Right.
so I'm just here to say, not so.
It's not.
Not
It's
so.
not.
The single mothers that I know that I'm in a relationship with, they're all doing the very best that they can to raise
Mhm.
healthy, well-adjusted, well-adapted citizens. And so
Good.
that's the message that I want to bring forth. That's the message.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So yes,
So
I've known a lot that are killing it too.
yeah, I mean, and killing themselves in the process, because
Right.
some people, some women don't have a tribe, and that's real,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I can remember
Very
a
true.
time when I didn't have anybody to help me. It was just me. And
Mhm.
that's a huge responsibility. Okay, it's a huge
Yes.
responsibility, and sometimes you just don't have anybody. So if there's anybody watching who absolutely doesn't have anybody, I understand. Please get you a
Mhm.
village. Start building one, constructing one. If you can get near
That's
family
right.
and friends that can help you out, please do that, because
Yes.
parenting is 24/7, 365, and oftentimes the default is deny, deny, deny yourself, right? To make
Mhm.
sure they're good.
Mhm.
And then the next thing you know, you're
Mhm.
having some kind of crisis because you haven't attended to your own needs. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. But you're right. You should find, I encourage anybody to find
Hmm.
somebody that you can actually trust,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of young mothers, like you
Hmm.
said, 20 is young, 20,
Hmm.
21, all that's still young, not even mentioning the teenage
Hmm.
moms.
Yeah.
But it's still, you have to find somebody. And even if you don't feel like you can go to your own mother,
Hmm.
like some people don't have the bond with their own mom to teach them how to be a mom or how to do this or that, or a grandmother. But find a cousin or somebody at
Hmm.
church or somebody at work that you trust. There's somebody out there
Hmm.
that can actually guide you, because we don't know all the answers. These kids don't come with
Right.
instructions,
Hmm.
so we can't expect to know all the answers, and we can't expect to know how to respond to every
Hmm.
any and everything that comes up with them
Right.
without somebody saying, "Hey, maybe you should try this," or
Hmm.
or try that. But it's always somebody else that you're gonna need, and we're good for. I don't need anybody. I got it. No,
Hmm.
sometimes you need somebody else. Sometimes you need somebody else. But that's why you have to, and I'm not trying to push God on anybody, but I pray
Hmm.
for people to be in my corner
Hmm.
and say, okay, you got this. You need some encouragement too,
Hmm.
that you're doing a good job. If you try this, then maybe this will happen. But it's important, so important to find somebody that you can actually lean on. And I think that's in life in general, but
Yeah.
especially in with motherhood.
Yeah.
especially with motherhood, because it's hard. It's very hard.
You need a
So yeah,
tribe. You need a tribe, and the tribe doesn't have to be family members.
right.
Sometimes you can't rely on your family for whatever reasons.
Mhm.
There's such things as generational curses and traumas that are passed from generation to generation, and maybe you're coming from an unhealthy family, and that's
Yes,
real. And so
that's right.
I don't believe that just because this person is mom or dad or brother or sister, if they're toxic or if they're
Mhm.
unhealthy, I don't think you have to avail yourself to them just because you're related. So
That's
you can
right.
construct your tribe. It can sometimes,
Mhm.
sometimes friends can come through for you in ways that a family member can't. So
Yes.
please, yeah, please
Yes.
find a tribe and don't try to do it all yourself. Hmm.
Mhm.
What are some common misconceptions that you think are out there about single mothers?
That we spend up all the child support money on ourselves.
Right,
like, like what? But
right.
there are some who do. I'm
Yeah.
not going front. There are some who go take the child support money and get their nails done or whatever. But that's
Hmm.
not the majority of us. But that's one of the main misconceptions, that we
Hmm.
spend the child support money and go out to eat and do whatever else. That we can't parent like if there were two parents in the household. Like we're
Hmm.
not effective enough to
Hmm.
have an impact on the child so they can be I guess a model citizen, or they could
Hmm.
go do well for themselves, period, because you're a single mother.
Hmm.
um what else? Those are the main ones that we
Hmm.
can't. The main one is that we can't have successful children being
Hmm.
a single mom. But I will say that's it's a lot of people, is lawyers and doctors and actors and musicians and all that, who were raised by single mothers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that whole narrative is beyond me. But I don't know where that comes from. I really don't. But I've seen that, single moms, they can't go anywhere. They don't. They always are always needy. That's another one. Are
Hmm.
always needy. They always need a handout, because they can't do it on their own.
Hmm.
So I saw a post one day that, single moms, if you weren't getting child support, would you still be able to take care of your kids, or could you still hold it down?
Hmm.
The question should be, why should we?
Yeah.
Why should we have to? We didn't make the child by ourselves.
Right.
So regardless if you were a single mother from being a product of divorce, or you were just a single mother because you weren't married when you got pregnant, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it always takes two. And so the
Absolutely.
mother shouldn't have to be the one to just hold it down for everything. It's because
Right.
it's not right. It's not. But that's
Right.
one of the main misconceptions, is that single mothers, we always struggling, and we always um have to fight, and we're not good enough,
Hmm.
and that's hurtful. It's very, very hurtful.
I some of my some of the ones that I hear a lot are, you're bitter. You're
Oh
bitter.
yes.
You still want the father of your child or
mm,
children. You're
okay.
jealous of the
mm,
the new girlfriend or new wife. You can't
mm-hmm.
keep a man. You're
mm.
desperate. You're promiscuous. You're
Oh my
easy.
gosh.
Those are some of the things that I hear a lot. That you're
Okay,
using the
okay.
kid. You use your kid against the father. Which, again, I'll concede there
Mm-hmm.
are some mothers who do those things.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
there are,
Yeah.
but in my circle and the people
Yeah.
that I know, that's not happening. So
That's
I,
right. Me either.
yeah, I think that people say those things because it makes them feel better. And
Mhm. Mhm.
if I put you down, then that elevates me. And so
Yeah.
that's why I think some people run with that narrative. But that it's hurtful. It's not true,
Mhm.
but it's definitely
Right.
it's a hurtful thing, especially when so many, I meet people all the time who were raised by single mothers, men
Mhm.
and women. And it's
Yeah.
especially hurtful to me when I hear men who were raised by single mothers who, for all intents and purposes, seem to be good mothers,
Right.
now disparage single mothers. And I'm like, well, make it make sense. Make that make
Right.
sense. Did
Right.
something happen that you're not sharing? Like, why are
Mhm.
you, and then I've
Why
even,
are you like this?
yeah. And then I've even seen, in some instances where they'll say, oh, she's looking for a father, or she's looking for a daddy or whatever for the kids. And
Yes.
I'm thinking, if I'm thinking of partnering with someone, I
Mhm.
probably should assess whether or not they'd be a good father figure for my children. Like, what's abnormal
Absolutely.
about that? Like, so again,
Yeah.
make it make sense.
Ah,
Make it make
make it
sense.
make sense. You're
Make
right.
it make sense.
That puts me in the mind of that's where the baby mama come, and I hate that phrase. My baby mama this, and I hear that with our
Mhm.
clients at work. My baby mama. So the stereotype of baby mama is
Mhm.
exactly that. That's the one who's gonna show out when the dad comes to get the girls or the kids, and with the
Mhm.
girlfriend, she the one who acting a fool outside, and won't let them see the kids or anything like that. But that's not the single mothers. That's the stereotype of baby mama.
Now,
So,
women like to be fair, women like that exist. Okay, so
oh, absolutely,
I'm not saying they don't
absolutely.
exist, but to kind
But
of
it's not
paint us all
everybody.
with the broad stroke and say
Right.
all of you all are
Yes.
like that, not so,
Yes. Yes, and I
not
think
so.
that's probably where a lot of that comes from, because
Mhm.
they group every single mother,
Mhm.
excuse me, to being somebody's baby mama. And so, yeah, I mean, and it's it's a mess. But yes,
Right.
there are some, and it makes the rest of us look bad.
Right.
So, but because that's not everybody.
Mhm.
But it kind of goes both ways, because you have baby daddies or single fathers who it's the same thing, but
But you know
it's
what's
only the
interesting?
minority.
You
Mhm.
know what's interesting is I never see that vitriol directed towards single fathers. Like, I don't
Mm.
see women saying, "Oh, single fathers are this," and "Oh, single fathers are that." It's always like, "Oh my God, he's a single father." I'm just like,
Right.
Wait a minute,
Yes.
wait a minute. He's
Yes.
doing what I'm doing. What's so?"
Mhm. Mhm. It must be, oh, maybe the mom died or something
Or
like
she was
that,
awful,
and
or
right,
she was an
right, and he
awful
had to get
person, and
custody of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's really interesting
Yes.
how society, and particularly in our community, how we stack that thing up against single mothers. It's very
Mhm.
interesting to me.
I agree.
What about challenges in dating? Like, what are some of the challenges that
Whew. um, challenge it. Well, earlier, I used to kind of shy away from it because
yeah.
I didn't want, I guess, to give my kids the wrong impression, like
Mhm.
they didn't, I hate their dad, and so I wanted to
Mhm.
be with somebody else. So that was when they were younger.
Mhm.
But later on, I wouldn't bring anybody around my kids, because if they're not here to stay, or if I feel like we're not going to get serious or something, you don't have that privilege. It's a privilege to meet my
Mhm.
kids.
Right.
So in the dating world, so I'm not going to be the mom that has men coming in and out of the
Mhm.
house and all of that, and have all kind of different men around.
All kinds of
I
uncles.
never, yeah, yeah, no, ma'am, we're not doing that. So,
Yeah, no.
so yeah, and they looking at mom like, okay, well, what happened to the so and so that was
Mhm.
here? No, no.
Mhm.
So throughout their lives, I can really count on one hand
Mhm.
that the people that I've actually dated and brought around them,
Mhm.
because I was just so protective of them and their
Mhm.
feelings. But
Yeah.
then again, it's still kind of like not fair to myself,
Yeah.
because I was so worried about them
Mhm.
that I really wasn't, I guess, caring about my needs. It was more
Mhm.
about them.
Mhm.
And again, you live and learn and you grow, but I had to learn that, mom needs a life too.
Yeah.
Mom has to have, before I was Toni,
Mhm.
before I was mom.
You were a
So at the
woman. You're a
same
woman
time,
first.
yes, yes, yes,
You're a woman first.
yes,
Yeah, you
you
kind I
are.
did the same thing. You kinda go into this, like, nun, almost nun-like
Yes.
existence, 'cause you don't wanna send the wrong signals, and you don't wanna have the wrong
That's
person
right.
around your kids, and you don't wanna give
That's
off
right.
the persona that you're whatever, and so,
Mhm.
I had to have that conversation with myself. I'm like, "Hey, you're a mother, but you're a woman first, and so you need to get
Yes.
back in touch with those things that make you feel like a woman." And sometimes that's
Mhm.
the company of
Mhm.
the opposite sex. I'm not saying, do whatever, but for me, it was
Right.
sometimes
Right.
you miss the company of a man. And so, but
Very
you have
true.
to screen people really well.
Oh
And
yes.
another thing that I found is that I'm able to weed people out really quickly.
Mhm.
Because just talking to them, you get an idea of mindset, and it's like, okay,
Yes.
this is
Like.
not
Mhm.
someone that I want influencing my son, even though I have teenagers now. My oldest,
Uh huh.
is graduated from college, like I said, but the others are teenagers. But it's like, um, his mindset is not he's not
Mhm.
someone that I would want influencing them in any way, shape, or
Right.
form. And it's really kind of the contrast is really stark sometimes when you start dating and meeting people and considering who you're going to
Mhm.
entertain. It's like, okay, this
Right.
is just a good time guy. We can go out for drinks, we can go
Yes.
to a concert, we can hang
Yeah.
out, but this is not take you home and meet my children guy, and
That's
so
right.
it's been very interesting. It's been very
That's
interesting. I've
right.
also encountered men who had fractured relationships with their own biological mother.
Oh.
And so them watching, not watching because they weren't around, but maybe hearing me interact with my sons triggered something in them. And so
Okay.
I actually had someone tell me that I loved my sons too much.
No. What?
Yeah, he actually said that to me. You love them too much. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So that was like
What?
our last
Oh,
conversation.
that's a new one.
He told me he told me I love my sons too much. And I'm like, yeah. So sorry,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe he didn't get the,
He
oh,
didn't.
bless
He
him.
didn't. He
Didn't get the
didn't.
same love. Oh,
He
wow.
didn't.
Then you know what?
He
I've
didn't.
never encountered that, but that's sad. And I
Yeah.
never thought about that either. But I was told when I was married that when my
Mhm.
daughter was born that I spent too much time taking care of her, that I was
Mm.
neglecting him. And
Mhm.
so, and it was just like, this is a baby, this is a newborn. What?
Mhm.
So I kind of get that. And then when my son came and he had other needs that had to
Mhm.
tend to him.
Mhm.
So you grown. I mean, of course you still you still have to take care of whoever, you're with or whatever, and spend time with
Mhm.
them. But at the same time, these are my kids. And
Yeah.
this is I'm supposed to be doing this. This is who I made. I brought them to this world. I'm supposed to take
Yeah.
care of them. So, and I give them all the love that they're supposed to have.
Mhm.
But yeah, I I get that.
I
That is
think
so sad.
I think some men are manipulative, not all, obviously,
Mhm.
but I think some
Mhm.
men will test you to see if they
Oh
can
yeah.
manipulate you away from, your responsibilities as a mom. And, we
Mm.
see those stories in the news all the time,
Oh
where
yeah.
if I was weaker or less sure about what my commitment
Mhm.
was to my children, I may
Mhm.
caved into, when I noticed he's trying to compete with I mean, there's like no comparison. That's like a woman
Oh
competing
right.
against your boyfriend's daughter. It's like
Mhm.
there's a no
Yeah.
win situation there. So I think, what I would say is that not just mothers, but all women, you really need to vet these people before
That's
you
it.
allow
That's it.
them into your intimate circles and into these spaces in your heart where it's hard to get rid of them. So I
Mhm.
definitely have picked up on some men who felt some kind of way because I was involved with my sons and I told them I loved them and I, was doing everything I could. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And
Oh.
you peel back the layers and this one particular guy, he had a very bad relationship with his mother. due to
Mhm.
substance abuse. And so he didn't get
Okay.
all of that nurturing and love and kisses and support growing up. So
Right.
he felt some kind of way when he had to see that, and I
Um,
understood it, but that was something that he needed to be on a therapist couch dealing
amen.
with, that wasn't for me to help him work through. So
Yeah, yeah, because that's not fair to you.
not
That's
at
not fair to you.
all. Not at all.
Yeah, and I used to be a juvenile probation officer,
Mhm.
and I've had kids who their mothers chose their boyfriends
Mhm.
over them. And
Mhm.
so they felt like when you don't have your mother's love and support
Mhm.
because she chooses somebody else over you,
Mhm.
this is what it could be a result of that
Right.
that reason. And I never wanted my kids to ever feel like I didn't support them, or
Right.
I didn't love them, especially love them.
Right.
So no, I always told nobody will ever come in between us. Period. We're a package deal.
Exactly.
So whoever chooses me chooses y'all, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
So, but there are some women who do that,
Yeah.
and I don't know, if it's
Now, that's not
because
all
they're
of us.
searching for something else. That's not all of us.
That's not all of us. There are some, but if you look at it on the flip side, there are lots of men who do that. They throw their kids
Oh
away
yes,
for new relationships, for new marriages.
yes,
That
yes,
happens, but that's a
yes.
conversation for another day. So,
Ah, okay.
yeah, but it happens. It
It
happens. But
does.
yeah, it happens. So, and I felt for him. But again, that was not my cross to bear. That was something he needed to work out.
That's right.
But
That's
it
right.
definitely reared itself, when we were talking. What
My
what about
goodness.
stress? What about single moms and stress? Like on a scale from 1 to 10,
Ooh.
how stressful would you say being a single mom is? I'd say 400
I
sometimes.
was gonna say about 1,000. It's very stressful,
Yeah.
especially if your kids are doing things and you're
Mhm.
being pulled 5,000 different ways, and then
Mhm.
you're working, and you have to
Mhm.
come home and do dinner and help with homework, and keep your whole sanity, and then
Mhm.
try to have a little piece of a life, a social
Mhm.
life. So yeah, the balancing act is very stressful,
Mhm.
very, very stressful. There were times where I would have, like, I would say, coming home after school, well, coming home from work and picking my kids up from after school,
Mhm.
and my kids would be like the last ones there because
Mhm.
I'm trying to get there. And so they were like, Mommy, everybody was gone and I was the only one here. So I feel bad because I'm
Yeah.
working and I work so far. And so I'm stressing trying to make sure that they feel like everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, that they're not feeling neglected and, not cared for or what have you. But,
Mhm.
and it's stressful, like when they wanted to do things and I didn't have enough money.
Mhm.
That in itself, I think the financial part is the most stressful, and to this day is still the most stressful, because being in a one income household,
Mhm.
you still try to make sure that they can do what they want to do.
Mhm.
Um, this was before they had gotten jobs or what have you, but you still trying to do everything and trying to be super mom,
Mhm.
and that within itself puts a lot of pressure on yourself, which causes stress.
Yeah.
So it's that's where the tribe comes in.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it all by yourself, and
Yeah.
it causes stress. And see, sometimes it can get bad enough where the mom can resent being the
Mhm.
mom by themselves, because I if I didn't have the kids, and I'm not saying I do that, but I've known some people who may have felt like if I didn't have these kids and I could blah blah blah,
Right.
and which is it's all about our choices. We all make choices in life, but at the same time, you choose to have these babies, and these babies are yours. So let's figure out a way to make it happen and still take care of yourself and have fun for yourself.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very stressful. But you have to
Yeah.
find a balance. You have to find a balance. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. You will definitely go crazy.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
if you have a
important.
Yeah, so if you have like a far commute, you may want to try to find something closer to home. to cut
Mhm.
your commute in half.
Mhm.
So you have
That's
more
right.
time to decompress and more time to spend at home,
Absolutely.
more time to pull yourself together. Um,
Mhm.
the money, I
Mhm.
mean, when my eldest was in college, that college
Mhm.
tuition
Oh
is
God.
disrespectful.
It's very. It
It's
is. It
disrespectful.
is.
And,
My Lord.
what's so interesting about that is that my father, my son's grandfather, stepped
Mhm.
in, when he saw
Mine
me like trying
too.
to do everything, and
Yes.
he stepped in. I didn't even ask,
Mhm.
and helped me. And I will forever be grateful and indebted to
Me
him for
too.
helping me
Me
out through
too.
that transition. But that college tuition is something else. And there
Yeah,
were
it's
there
a
were
beast.
days, yeah, there were days when
Mhm.
I ain't got it. People say I ain't got it, I ain't got it.
Yes.
I didn't have it. I just didn't
Well,
have
imagine
it.
having two at the same time. I
I
had
can't. I can't.
two,
But
two.
that's
I was like,
it's a
Lord.
career. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it was rough. It was rough.
It
And
is. And even after the tuition, and they still need stuff throughout the semester.
mhm.
So here I
Yeah.
have one in North Carolina A&T. The
Mhm.
other one was at Tuskegee. They
Mhm.
on two opposite ends of
Mhm.
Interstate 85. One got this one got that one in choir, one in a band, got games. I was like, Jesus,
Yeah.
what? So yeah,
Yeah.
and my dad is an angel. My mom and I had
Mhm.
family members who helped, and they'll pitch in, even like housing. The
Mhm.
housing money is due on this day, and
Mhm.
I'm just like, ooh, okay.
Apartment apartments and cars,
Yes, yes,
pledging,
yeah,
and
that's it.
my family just kind of circled around me. And when I say family, I mean my friends too. They all pitched
Hmm.
in and were like, no, he's not going to miss a beat. So
That's
here's what we can
it.
do. And
That's
they did
it.
it, and we made it happen. But
I'm so grateful.
ooh,
Yes.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It
Hats
is.
off,
It is.
to the moms that are making it happen, because I
Yeah,
certainly understand the
that's right.
sacrifices that you make and are making to make that happen
Yes.
for your children. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And that's the key word you said, sacrifice.
Mhm.
Sacrifice. And it is a sacrifice. And you have to choose because you love them so
Mhm.
much. You
Mhm.
have to choose to sacrifice a lot of your wants and needs. There are times where, I don't know when the last time I went and actually got my hair done.
Mhm.
I do it myself. I learned to do it myself and go
Mhm.
whatever because I knew that this money was needed for something more important.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of times we sacrifice stuff that we want. Maybe you can't go out to eat. Maybe you have to come home or they got to eat peanut butter and jelly instead of whatever else. But
Mhm.
that's what the sacrifice. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the key. And you have to be willing to do it within this whole journey. So, but it's
But
worth it.
yeah,
It's
but
worth
you
it.
but you can become bitter if you
Mhm.
dwell on the fact that you're the only one making the sacrifices. And
Yes.
so I had to, um how do I want to say this? I had to understand that
Okay.
and realize that the only person I could control is
Mhm.
me.
That's
And so
right.
I was going to do everything that I knew how to do to provide, and
Mhm.
the chips would fall where they were going to fall, with whomever
Right.
else. And
Right.
so, but I do think that some women get fixated on, I'm the only one doing this and I'm the only one doing that. And
Right.
it's true. But
Mhm.
harping
Mhm.
on something like that and harboring that will make you bitter. It will make you
And you're
angry, and it will
absolutely
make you
right.
bitter. It's a
Mhm.
just anger, but you can't hold on to it. You can't hold
Right.
on
And
to
I've
it.
been there. I've
Mm-hmm.
been there to the point where I was bitter and I had to learn to
Mm-hmm.
let go because I couldn't really function. Like he's out here living his best life
Mm-hmm.
and I'm struggling. I'm
Mm-hmm.
struggling with these kids to keep us afloat, keep our
Mm-hmm.
lights on, keep food and all this,
Mm-hmm.
and you just doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we hadn't been put out. We
Mhm.
hadn't gone hungry.
Mhm.
We hadn't lacked
Mhm.
without the necessities that we need. And I had to start putting things into perspective.
Yeah.
Like, okay, God, well, even though this is going on, it's not looking like I thought it should look.
Mhm.
They're still good kids. They're still doing great. we're still making it. So it's time to live and stop
Mhm.
harboring on the bad things. And that's a choice too, to make
Yeah.
it, to look at the positives instead of the negatives.
Mhm.
So because you can bounce, it's hard to bounce back once you get to that mindset
Mhm.
that I'm the only one, blah blah blah, and he don't never get to do the blah blah blah. And so but it's easy to do. It is hard to bounce back, but you have to make the conscious effort to say, you
Mhm.
know what, forget it. I'm gonna live my life. Me and the kids, we gonna do us, and that's what we did. We took trips, we had fun together, because
Mhm.
you could spend so much time on that you miss out on the good stuff, the
Yeah.
that making memories.
Mhm.
And we make memories and we have fun with each other. And so
Mhm.
I embrace those times, because in a minute they're gonna be both moved out,
Yeah.
and God only knows have starting their families or whatever.
Mhm.
And you look back and like, man, I didn't make the most of the time that I had. And I
Mhm.
never wanted to be like that. I never wanted to either have to endure that those thoughts that I didn't do the best that I could. So yeah.
Yeah. And forgiveness
Oh,
is for
absolutely.
you. It's not even for
It,
it's not
it's
saying
that's
it's not
right.
saying that it's okay how this person handled
Mhm.
your responsibilities. It's a gift
Mhm.
you give to yourself, and I had to learn that. And
That's
the
right. Me
other
too.
part of it is you don't have to say anything to your children. You just do
Mhm.
what you do, and at
Oh
some
yes.
point, the rose-colored glasses come off, and
Yes.
they see things exactly as they are, and you won't have
Mhm.
to say a word.
That's right.
You don't have to talk down on the other parent. You don't have to say,
Mhm.
see,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have to do any of that.
Yes.
They will
Yes.
eventually see things for
They
themselves,
sure will.
and,
They
you
sure
know,
will.
that's on
Oh
the
my
other parent
goodness.
to deal with and fix.
That's right.
So,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I was
So,
told
I
that
had
a
to learn
long
that.
time ago
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, yeah. And I was
So,
never the one who thought it made sense to even say anything negative. It's like, for what?
mhm.
That's
Right.
energy, that person giving energy to somebody who doesn't deserve it.
That's
And I
right.
have so much going on over here. I don't even have time to sit and tell you all the things that they may or may not be doing. So
Right.
I'm glad that that's the attitude that I took. And,
Mhm. Me too.
things work themselves out, and I'm not
Yeah.
bitter. I'm not
Mhm.
bitter at
I'm not
all.
anymore.
I have been
I'm
angry. I
not
have been angry,
anymore.
but I'm not bitter
Mhm.
by any
Yeah.
stretch of the imagination. At your lowest,
Mhm.
if you can think about your lowest moment, what
Okay.
was the thing that pulled you out of that?
Oh, um, at my lowest. That's a good question. My relationship with God.
Mhm,
My relationship with God brought me through a lot.
mhm,
So I had to learn that I had to give it to Him. And again, I'm not trying to push God on everybody or whatever, but that's who I am. That's who. Without Him, I would be just as foolish
mhm,
and crazy. So I had to hold on to Him and His promises for my
mhm,
life and my kids' lives.
mhm,
So, and people randomly would encourage me, Toni, you're really doing a good job. I admire you. What? You
mhm,
admire me? See, stuff like that kind of blew my mind, because I never really looked at myself as somebody being admired. I was just surviving.
mhm,
So at my lowest, it was more of, okay, encourage people encouraging you, because I
mhm,
feel like God would send people to you in the right time to help you to keep going.
mhm,
And that's the main thing. And my kids, mom, okay, this probably would be what helped me. My kids came to me one day and said, when we get older, we're gonna buy you a house, we're gonna buy you a car. And it brought tears to my eyes, because I was like, what? No, because mom, you sacrifice everything for us and you do everything for us, and we don't want you to have to do anything. When we get older, we're gonna take care of you. And that was one that kind of brought me back, like,
mhm,
okay, I can keep pushing a little farther. But when somebody encourages you, and that's why I try to encourage other people. Like single
Mhm.
moms is like a is what's the word? It touches my heart. It's part of my heart to encourage others because I know how hard it is. So when I had the encouragement from them, that was kind of what kind of brought me up. Because I remember there was one time that my son, we didn't have enough money. He was at school, but I was just like, I don't know how we gonna pay this tuition every
Mhm.
semester, every literally every semester. I had no idea how my kids' tuition gonna get paid. I had no idea. I was like, okay, well, get your stuff because
Mhm.
we gonna hit this road. And my son had band camp, and so he had to go early, but he still had money that he had to pay. But I was
Mhm.
like, all right, well, let's go, let's do it. He didn't have anywhere to live. He
Mhm.
was living with his band friends,
Mhm.
and I said, Lord, you if you don't do this, it's not going to get done. And he called me one day and he said they're gonna cancel my classes and they're gonna make me leave because I still have a balance on my account.
Yeah.
And I prayed and I said, okay, well, I'm coming. And I cried and cried. I felt like such a failure.
Yeah.
I felt like it was all my fault that I
Mhm.
encouraged him to even go up there knowing his stuff wasn't paid. And then I prayed and I went back and I said, okay, Chris, look in your account again and let's find the, because we had exhausted all financial aid and loans and whatever else.
Mhm.
And he went back, he said, for some reason, I don't have a balance. I actually have a plus. I have
Mhm.
money that I'm getting a refund. To this day, we don't even know where that came from.
Yeah.
We don't know where that money came from. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, that I always get reminders
Mhm.
that God takes care of us. He takes
Yeah.
care of me. He's going to take care of my kids.
Mhm.
And that's how I keep going. And then he's never failed us. He's never failed us to this day. He has not failed us. So it's been a journey.
I got real
It's
close
been a
to the
journey.
cashier. I got
Hmm.
really close to the cashier, the bursar, and the dean of his college.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, oof,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
yeah, sweating, honey. I'll be sweating, but we made it happen.
Yeah.
But it was not easy. It was not
That's
easy. I
right.
definitely understand that. What advice would you give to a single mom who may be watching who is at the end of her rope or feels like she's nearing the end of her rope or she is frustrated um,
Hmm.
because ends aren't meeting and all these
Hmm.
responsibilities are on her shoulder now and what advice would you give to her?
Um, I would say you have to look at the bigger picture.
Hmm.
This is only temporary. This the kids don't stay little forever. They
Mhm.
don't stay teenagers forever. This
Mhm.
doesn't last forever.
Mhm.
So you have to continue to look at it as I can do this. I
Mhm.
encourage, and my other main advice: find something that brings you peace. Find
Mhm.
something that you enjoy doing, um, and find the tribe. I'm back to the tribe. I cannot express this tribe enough. You
Yeah.
have to find somebody, a support system. You have to have a support system, even if it's other moms at their school, or other moms at if it's summer, maybe summer camp, or in your neighborhood or something like that. But find somebody and tell somebody. Don't hold it all in, because I was
Mhm.
good at that too. And I don't know, I can do it myself. I don't need this and that. Yeah, we need help sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't try to do it all. That's my main encouragement. Don't try to do it all by yourself because you can't.
Right.
You cannot. You will kill yourself
Yeah.
trying to do it all by yourself. So find somebody that you can trust. Express how you feel. Don't hold it. Don't. I'm telling you. Don't hold it all in because some ways you end up taking it out on your kids and they don't deserve that.
Mhm.
or taking it out on other people, or
Mhm.
some people turn to substance abuse or whatever. But build your faith up, build your faith up.
Mhm.
And even if you don't believe in God, find something that you can lean on, where it helps you in your spiritual walk, and it helps you in your mentally to feel better, because you have to have a balance. You
Mhm.
have to have a balance. And it's going to be times where everything is not always going to get done. The house is not always going to get clean.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're gonna have to go to school and their clothes are wrinkled or whatever. You're not perfect, and the kids don't have to be perfect.
Right.
So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up if it's not like you think it should be. But you're as long as you keep loving on your babies and encouraging them, there's always going to be a way, a light at the end of the tunnel.
Mhm.
Always, it's always a light
Mhm.
at the end of the tunnel. So that's my encouragement today.
That's great. That is good stuff. One of the things I forgot to mention was another type single mother. We know that there are single mothers who never married. Maybe you're divorced. Maybe you're widowed. Um, Maybe you chose to be a single parent. But there are some
Hmm.
women who are married that are single parents. Even
Oh
in their marriage,
God, yes.
they're single parents. What will you say
Yes.
to those women?
Whew. Um.
They
You know
exist.
what?
It's the thing. They exist.
I,
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt like I was completely by myself,
Mhm.
and he doing whatever. I'm up with the kids, and I'm
Mhm.
getting them ready and doing this and that, and I
Mhm.
felt completely like a
Yeah.
single mother. But it's the same advice: find a tribe,
Yeah.
find a support system outside of your marriage, a friend, or the parents, grandparents, or somebody who can actually help out.
Mhm.
Even if you are married and he's doing absolutely nothing to help you, somebody will.
Mhm.
Somebody will help you. You still don't have to do it all by yourself. But I will also say, express how you feel to that spouse, because
Mhm.
there's no, without any communication, how are they going to know? I
Yeah.
mean, but you don't have to do it nagging, because a lot of guys, that
Stop
goes in one ear and
listening.
out the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
they become immune to it. So it's just like,
Mhm.
whatever. She just fussing. She'll get over
Mhm.
it. Then at the same time, if you don't say anything, how are they going to know?
Right.
So you can sit down if you feel like you don't want to argue or whatever. Write down what you feel, how you feel, and give it
Mhm.
to him. Um, there were times where I would write down, because I knew had I spoke it, it wasn't gonna come out right. And
Mhm.
in fact, it'd probably be a bunch of cuss words, all in the middle. So I had to write it down and say, this is how I
Mhm.
feel. And don't do it pointing the finger, because you don't blah blah blah. Or it's more of, when I have to do this by myself, I feel like this. When I have to do that without any help, I feel like this.
Yeah.
And I do feel like a single mom. You have to be honest, because as long as you're still doing it and doing it and doing it and don't say anything, you're
They
gonna
think
keep
you're
doing it.
okay. Yeah, and
They
they think
think
you're
you're
okay.
fine.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
some men grew up seeing women do it all and
That's
think
right.
that that is what you're supposed to do, is do it all.
That's right. That's right.
I bring the checks home and everything
Yep.
else is on you.
Mhm.
But you
That's
do have to
right.
find your voice, and you do have to
Yes.
communicate how you're feeling,
Communication.
and hopefully your spouse or significant other has the ear to hear you and the
That's
heart to
right.
change
That's
um,
right.
what he or
Mhm.
she may be doing within that relationship. What's next for you, Tony? What's next on the horizon for you?
Um, I was told that I need to write my own book.
Mm, I think I
I
wanna do
haven't
that too.
really,
Yeah.
I haven't really grasped that, because I was like, "Ooh, that's a
Mhm.
lot." Because this chapter was a lot, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to make sure that here go to balance again. Make sure my
Yeah.
kids are good. My daughter's
Yeah.
in grad school.
Mhm.
She's moved to Chicago to go to grad school. My son is here for
Awesome.
a year before he goes to grad school.
Mhm.
So I'm really trying to figure out what is next.
Right.
So I've heard a couple people tell me about this. You need to do your own book because we had a certain limit for this chapter,
Yeah.
and I went way over and had to come back. I had to cut out some stuff. I was like,
Mhm.
oh Lord. So that could be next, but
Mhm.
I'll keep praying on that. So I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I'm not sure. I'm gonna marinate on that though.
Yeah. If it's one thing that single mothers need more of, it is encouragement.
Oh yes.
So, as loudly as you can share to those in your life that are dealing
Yes.
with that, that's great, and I'll continue doing it on my end, but
Okay.
you definitely need and I'll continue to use my platform to do that as well, but single moms need encouragement. They don't need to be toned
Absolutely.
down. They don't need to be
Mhm.
judged. They don't need to be
Mhm.
ostracized. They don't need to be talked
That's right.
about. They need help, encouragement,
Mhm.
love, support, understanding, all of those things.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so I'm inspired by this book, and as I was reading it, I'm thinking, I probably need to put pen to paper and tell my story, and get over this whole
Yeah.
privacy thing,
That's
and
right.
share, what I've been through
Mhm.
because I guarantee that there is someone who could relate to the things I've been through and
Oh yeah.
overcome and the things I'm
Yeah.
still going through. I don't have it all
Mhm.
figured out. I have a pretty good
Me
idea,
either.
but I don't have it all figured out. Where can
That's
we
right.
find you? Where can we find you on social media?
Under Tony Green dash Davenport.
Okay.
That's under on Facebook, and on Instagram it's Pretty Tony Toni the number 2000 on Instagram.
Mhm.
And I'm not on Twitter or
Okay.
anything else. I just hadn't figured that out yet.
And don't forget to plug
But
your book. Plug your book.
yes, so my book, Dear Single Mom,
Yes.
you are built to defy the odds. You
Mhm.
can get it on payhip.com
Mhm.
/, Tony Davenport.
Mhm.
And the book is $20.
Mhm.
And I have books actually here. It will come directly from me that I would send the book out. I would mail the book out to you. So
Mhm.
I have plenty of books left that, that are available,
Mhm.
and you can get it. And even if you're not a single mom, if you know somebody who can
Mhm.
benefit from some encouragement, family, a friend, or a coworker, or anything like that, then I would encourage you to get the book for them too.
Yeah.
So, but it's great. It's a great book. I must say
That's
so myself.
it is. And it'll tug on your heartstrings too. I definitely saw myself in a lot of the stories and experiences that I know others have had in the story. So that was great.
Mhm.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to Conversations with Belle. You can find me across all social media platforms at I am Belle Morgan. I look forward to seeing you again soon to talk about real life issues in a meaningful way. Until then, have a great evening.